Okay, so guys, I'll take you through the webinar flow and few instructions we have before we start into a Q&A session. I'll be sharing in my screen. Okay, guys, so this is our very first session, Ask Analogy Anything. We are going to conduct this session from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. This is our very first session, as I mentioned, and we are very thrilled to have all the participate, all the registrations we got, and let's hope this session goes very smooth. I'll tell you brief about Analogy. So Analogy is a design studio. Our main logo and philosophy is about the human by design, and we not just design. We are here to aim to create and to launch. We have 21 plus global awards, and recently we got the GOAT award by Indian Awards, and I would be sharing more about it. So this webinar is going to be a 90 minutes journey where we will be taking you a deep dive topic discussions. Then we will have Q&As from all of your side. Our team members will be discussing about it. And last 15 minutes, we'll be having up the wrapping up. So today's main focus areas are student roadmap. So after in industrial design, and second is about the freelance success and freelance industry in industrial designing. So there are many questions we get, and there are a lot of common questions like what are the skill set we require, how do we get our first clients, how do we do management, how do we do expenditures and everything. And if you're looking for something like that, then definitely this webinar is for you. So here are the few common instructions I want to give you. We have the chat box and Q&A session. If you have any doubts, you can ask it, you can communicate on the chat box. And if you have any certain question, please drop it in the Q&A section so we all are able to see it. Be very clear with your question, and please do not repeat the questions, and avoid unmuting yourself or trying to interrupt the session. So let's just begin with the session. Okay, so there are a few very common questions we get as we are here on this webinar. So I'll be asking few of the questions, and our teammate is here. We have VT, our founder, and now an advisor at Analogy. We have our lead designers over here, Vikrant. Then we have our engineers, Dinesh and Gokul, and we have other designers and the team, and they will be answering your questions. We also have our COO, Malalan, and we all will be answering all of your questions. Let's begin with the very common and general question we always get. It is about the student. So when you're starting up with your career in the industrial designing, what is the roadmap you should be taking up? Should we jump into the masters, or should you go for a work balance thing, or you should go for a freelancer? This is a very common question we get, and I think the awareness about industrial design is very low, and maybe this webinar is going to be a bridging gap between that thing. So I would request Vikrant to take up this answer.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Vikrant. I'm design lead at Analogy. And the first question is, what is the ideal roadmap to being an industrial designer? The answer is there is no ideal roadmap to being an industrial designer. So my suggestion on a trajectory on how to become a successful industrial designer would be to obviously first be interested in building products rather than just visualizing products. So when you're looking at getting your first jobs or internships, always try to work with companies that uh, the sole aim of their company is to bring the products to life and to market. So as much as you can learn about what are the kind of different ways to manufacture products and cost save, that will help you design something that comes to market much quicker. Even when I studied my bachelor's, I wasn't aware of it until I finished my bachelor's, but the amount of exposure I got to the kind of design that is manufacturable and the kind of design that's not manufacturable came a few years later when I actually built those bad designs, and then factories would end up telling us that, okay, this is not something that's manufacturable, and I didn't have an answer to why. So expose yourself to this knowledge very early. because that would only help the company that you're working at and your design and your user succeed in their everyday lives while using this product.
Thank you so much, Vikrant. We'll be heading to our next question. So the question is, what are the skill set, may it be technical or software based, should a young designer prioritize? Should it be about the CADs or should it be about the engineering and mechanics that go behind? I would like Dinesh to take up this question.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, yes, we can hear.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. I'm Dinesh here at Redesign Engineering and MLG. So first, I answer this question. I would like to thank to team to given this opportunity to join here, and here I can divide it into four steps to as a to set industrial designer to learn something new. So industrial designer to starting out as a student, industrial design is a field huge and a bit overwhelming, and but think of it journey, it is step by step to build yourself. So first step I would say like starting observing observe the product all around you from chair to smartphone, and why is what designed in this way, and how it become a simpler and how it become a design in some other way, something like that. This kind of habit you improve your designing skills. And the step two is building skills, I can say. So building skills, so once you're thinking, you need to represent something in the way of sketching or storytelling or communication, something like that. That kind of thing skills also you need to develop. Okay, then while doing this, step three is you need to learn engineering also aside. So because that skill make your thinking perfect and come to ideas into picture. So make a perfect output from you. And step four, I can say, make your portfolio. So all together, as I said, the past last three steps, all together combine these two, and you can make your portfolio. That become your good portfolio, and it gives you a better opportunity and career growth. Yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you so much, Dinesh. We'll be proceeding with our next question, and I would like our COO, Malalan, to take up this answer. The question is, how can an independent designer or a just starting a freelancer or a small studio set up reliable processes for budgeting, vendor resources, and payment tracking so the projects run smoothly and financial risks are minimized?
Hey, thank you so much, Asmi. Thank you so much, people, for joining this webinar. This is the first time we are doing, and we are very, very excited. Thanks for everyone. So here I am. I'm Malolan Sampath. I work with Analogy. I've been working for the last couple of years. The journey has been fantastic, working with VT and Divya and the entire team. And I come with a background of around 30 years of experience in managing operations. So this has been, again, a big challenge. I'm working with Gen Z guys here. So it's they keep me on toes always. So it's a fantastic thing. So coming back to the video.
Yes, now we can see you also.
All right, guys, this is Malolan Sampath. Finally, I'm here in the video. Good. So coming back to that question, how would independent designers or small studios, you know, creative work agency, can become sustainable? Okay, right. If you have to become sustainable, the most important thing is that you need to earn revenue. You need to earn money, and the biggest part that plays here is you need to budget it. Okay, so when it comes to this creative work, first and foremost thing is you need to know how you would put across your pricing. That's very, very important, because we are not selling anything tangible here. We are selling a service which is intangible, creative work. So we need to know how much it's going to cost. So how would you do that, basically? So if you talk it, whether you are in an agency, whether you are an independent worker, you need a lot of things around you, right? You need a laptop, you need a space, you need software, you need time, right? So you need to understand, first put across what are the amount of hours that is required for this project, how many people are going to work on it, what kind of software that you would use. Here we have to use software that we need to purchase, right? You need to put across all those costs. And then the other things, such as how would you talk to a factory with respect to prototypes, how much it's going to cost, the materials, sourcing someone from outside, what it would cost, and you have to be ready with the contingencies too. So all these has to be put into budgeting. What we notice is that a lot of people will say, okay, I'll do it for this much amount for this much time. Eventually, the person who comes and invests on you burns their fingers, and then the project never gets completed. So you need to be very clear on your budget, okay? And then once you put this budget, it's very, very important for you guys to share that with the client, so-called client, right? And get it approved, okay? And always include 10 to 15% of your time as buffer, okay? So if you think that the project would only take a couple of months, then have a couple of weeks extra for unforeseen things that can actually come as an uncontrollable, right? So that's how you first start your budgeting aspect. The next is, now there are certain things that you can do, and there are certain things that you require external help. The first thing is, when you are doing a project, you will just give intangible stuff, that is design and other stuff. Whether who is going to actually make it to reality, the vendors. So you must always have a vetted list of vendors. I always tell my guys, we do projects in mechanical, non-mechanical, electrical, electronical, soft goods. So you should have at least dozen vendors with you ready, and you should have a pretty decent, connect with them, so that in certain times they need to help you even before you start the payment or other stuff. So you need to have the vendor list ready. Okay, that's very, very important. And always have, whenever you are doing something for any project, have talk to 2-3 vendors, come up with few quotes, right? And then decide on which one you would go ahead. Okay, so apart from budgeting and vendor sourcing, the most important thing is the tracking of the payments. Right in the beginning, be very, very clear with your customers how you want to receive the payments, right? Without getting those payments, it's very tough for you to do anything. So in this case, decide how you want to track the payments. You can use simple Excel sheets. There are other software that are available, like QuickBooks. We use Zoho. Simple Excel sheet would do good. Understand, put the invoice very clearly in how many days you need to receive the payment. Okay. In certain cases, what happens is that we work on milestones. Okay. It's a 4 months project. We work on milestones. After the first milestone, there would be some inordinate delays and other stuff. But like clockwork, you have to make your payments. So be very, very clear, stating that why you need those payments in those days. So track it very, very clearly on when each payment has to be done. Okay, and never ever spend large amounts on especially external factors, thinking that the project has to be done, because once you actually complete the project, and if you see the project costing, you would have spent more than what you would have received. Okay, so the essence is we have to treat finances with the same discipline as how you treat your design sketches, prototypes, validations, and everything. So that's very, very important for the survival, and you need to follow it to the T, guys. That's all I can say. Trust, that's fine.
Thank you so much, Sam. We'll be heading to our next question. I would like VT to answer this question. The question is, with the rise of AI visualization tools, Chinese factories, and white label products, how can freelance industrial designers stay competitive, build vendor networks, and deliver value that clients truly recognize?
Thanks, Asmi. And guys, I think it's amazing to see all of you. I don't know how many are there. How many do we have? Do we have 38 or something, right?
We have 48 members currently in the webinar.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. That's a superb turnout, and thanks so much for joining in. Really appreciate it. And I think so. The question was AI and what else, Asmi?
I'll repeat the question. It says, since the AI tools are rising these days, along with Chinese factory, like number of Chinese factory has increased, and lot of white label products in the industry, how can a newbie or a freelancer make stay competitive in this industry and make sure that they build lot of vendor networks and deliver the value that the client truly recognizes?
True, true, true. So I think, see, I feel the greatest thing about AI coming in is the way AI is being built right now is it's very segmented and extremely categorized. So you'll have, let's say, a Viscom for coming up with
Sorry
something.
to interrupt you. Will you please adjust your camera a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is it not working out well? Hold on 1 second. I'll see if I can move this. I'll continue talking in the meantime. So basically, what I was trying to say is that with AI coming in, it's actually very categorized and segmented right now, right? So we don't have to worry about. Can you guys can hear me? Or did I drop off? No, I am still there. Okay, hold on. And yeah, sorry guys. I think this is. Is this better? Video?
Yeah, much better. Sure.
Yeah, I think so. AI, I feel, is very segmented right now. So you have AI for designers, you have AI for CAD, you have AI for engineering, you have AI for sort of generalists, and that sort of stuff. So I feel like it's not really a big issue right now to say that a factory might actually come up with something in AI because of how segmented the overall industry is. I feel that there's quite a little bit of time before a regular guy. I mean, we have ran so many experiments. I think Vikrant is also a really good person to speak about this. We have taken some of our projects that we designed by hand and we gave it to like a tool like Viscom or like a tool like Midjourney or a tool like, what is the other one that we've been using? Uh, some of these image generators are not even close to what they can generate. So what each of them are doing is they're generating based on existing examples. So nothing new is actually coming out. So I feel like designers are quite safe for a couple more years until actual critical thinking is embedded into an AI algorithm, which I don't think it is. Right now, it's mostly taking images from the web, quickly mixing them up and creating mutated variations, which really don't compete against the designer's thinking. So if you have like proper mood boards, if you have a concept, if you have a philosophy that you're taking and you're actually creating these projects, it's extremely different compared to like let's say an AI taking it. Of course, you can use it to kind of come up with extremely good iterations, but I would never. I mean, if we had an AI output in a portfolio, which I have not seen by the way, fortunately, also unfortunately, is that it comes up with just existing variations. So I feel like. The real reason somebody is coming for a designer is the innovation bit, right? Wherein they want something new or they want to differentiate from the competition. That is not we've not seen that with AI yet, right? With Nano Banana also, the recent ones, the Seed Dream that has come up. I've been experimenting with it so much in the last few weeks. And you can take 4 or 5 different images, put it together, and it'll create a sort of like a combination of only those 4 images. So maybe if you put up a really good mood board and you do it, you get to see variations of it. But I also feel that using too much AI in the early stages is actually bad because it starts affecting the aptitude and also the uniqueness of a designer, the point of view of a designer is lost. For example, I really love translucent materials. I love playing around with translucent and metal, right? So those kinds of design languages are completely stripped away by AI coming in because everybody is going to get the same result with some of these prompts, and especially people are putting it on Instagram now saying that here's my prompt. Everybody's going to generate that. It's the same thing that Pinterest used to do all this while, right? Like everybody's sitting in front of a computer and sketching in front of Pinterest. It's very similar results. So you see that across portfolios. With Chinese factories, see, Chinese factories are very, very clear. They are there only to do business. They're never here to compete with, let's say, a designer, right? So for them, their singular job is to sell more items and units and nothing else. So they are not competing in any way with designers. Actually, they would actually be very good assets for designers. If a designer approaches a factory early on, they'll tell you what happens and what works and what doesn't work. Like Dinesh spoke about it a little bit before now, saying that, and I think he spoke about some very interesting points, to be honest. And I don't think industrial designers think that way any longer, right? I have not seen people take apart an object or observe an object, how it works. How is it actually designed? Taking something apart and seeing inside how some of the ribs are built, or some of the areas the fasteners are built, and how is it sandwiched together? Why is it so thin? Some of these basic questions people are not asking these days, which is the reason why I feel like the factory side of things are extremely safe currently for designers. No factory will ever ask you, why did you design it this way? They'll just say, how do I make it? Right? And if it is simple enough, if you've crossed that whole journey initially of getting there to how you have to make it, it's a very straightforward thing with factories. They're not at all worried about innovating. For them, they want to take a product, build like 1 million units, make more money. So since it's a very commercial thing, and all these factories that don't have actually brands in-house are doing such sort of things. Okay, so I feel like a designer should not be worried about right now in terms of, let's say, AI coming in, or like a factories coming in. Chinese factories have been around for like almost last 30 years, right? Who've been doing so much stuff. But I don't think the value of the designer is decreased, it's actually increased, because most factories now hire designers. All factories that I've gone to in China have 2 to 3 industrial designers. Of course, the ratio is extremely small. So you'll have 3,000 workers and you'll have 3 industrial designers on the team. And most of these guys are extremely stressed, and they just go and copy something. So if you, I don't know how many Behance follows you guys have, but if you have time, just put your Behance link into ChatGPT or something like that, and just say separate people by the origin of country, right? And you'll see a growing trend of Chinese factories following people on Behance, copying that. Our wireless charger Bloom that we did got ripped off in less than 3 months. They had a version out. So it's an easier way out for a lot of factories to look at something, just change it a little bit here and there to avoid any sort of liability or any legal issue, and just move forward. So I feel that is the only threat that the factory side bring, especially if they have a brand. But if they're a factory that is working with people to bring products alive, which is going to be the white label ones, the OEM, the ODM factories, you have no threat currently, as far as I can see. And that's it, Tasmi, from my side. If you have any follow-up questions, please let me know. And again, guys, thank you so much for joining. Sorry for the mess behind with moving houses, so all of that is bad, but let me know.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, VT. And on the same regards, we have a continuing question that says, how much amount of an AI generated work that we can showcase on our portfolios? VT, would you like to take it up?
Yeah,
Or anyone is free to answer this question?
Yeah, I think after this also Vikrant can contribute to this as well, because we've been discussing this extremely well, right? Like, so the way I would do it is AI generated work is not bad, but I don't think it should be AI generated ideas that should go onto a portfolio. For example, if it is your own idea that you've done, and then you've taken it into some really nice tools, like for example, Nano Banana, polished it up with a context. I was actually sharing a few. I think, I don't know, somebody had done that Safari board game thing, right? Like, so quickly took whatever was there and put it in context and said, like, can you show it with people playing around it and with a fireplace behind and so on and so forth. And it generated a beautiful in-context image, right? Similarly, you could take the start frame of your user scenario and the end frame of it, or maybe take all the frames of your scenarios, put it into VO3 and say, like, hey, can you generate a video out of this? And instead of putting 4 scrollable, sections in your portfolio, you could actually present a GIF that actually would be a little bit more, path-breaking, rather than just the same old scroll. People just scroll through your portfolios. I mean, I've told you most of the times it's 6 to 8 seconds in which your portfolio is scrolled through, and that's it, right? So having 30, 40 pages, I feel now should just go away, and I think AI can help that. I don't know how many of you have done prompts on AI to improve your portfolio or asked it to give you feedback, right? If you haven't, you guys should definitely do that, because That's the most simplest way to get unbiased feedback. And if you tell it that saying, listen, don't be a yes man. Just tell me where I should improve and what I can do better to these portfolios. You can take another's portfolio, compare it, right? Put it on ChatGPT and say, like, these are two portfolios. Tell me how I can make it as better as this portfolio. And it'll do all that. So I think that sort of AI should definitely be used. But I don't think image creation of the AI, like, like for example, if you're designing a pen and the entire design thing has been done on AI to a level where you have not sketched. It's only image generation work. That should not go on a portfolio because people will sniff it out very quickly. And I don't think that's ethical to put also, because basically what the AI would do is collect all images of pens and then mutate it to a level where, you're getting some sort of thing. Because if you keep on saying refine on mid journey, it will refine it to that level. So I feel that should not be there. But if you already have designed something, for example, somebody, I think it was Ritin or someone who was putting it on the community. He had designed a speaker set, right? So putting it in a beautiful European home or a Mediterranean home in that setting, right, which would take ages before to do contextual renders and key shot, put a background, the lighting is not working, then you have to create different nodes. I mean, it's a pain in the ass then, right? Like, so now it's not. That sort of AI usage is very much okay within portfolios, but let's say I would not do actual creation of concepts and put that on a portfolio. Thanks, Asmi. I think that should answer it. If anybody else has opinions, please go for it, guys.
Sure. Thank you so much, VT. And guys, you all are free to put down your questions in the Q&A section. Here we have a few bunch of questions which we will be answering, and we can still have more of questions. So I encourage everyone to put down their questions over here. So we have, regards the same, we have a next question, that is, what's your take on balancing the cost of international masters with the return and what is the return it brings in terms of opportunity? So I would like Vikrant to take this up.
First, I want to add a little bit previously to Anushka's question. I just wanted to add a little bit because this is something we are also exploring in-house. So, like a lot of designers and different creative practitioners who are trying to make business have asked me like a few times, and I've thought about this also a few times. Like, they usually ask what is the most critical skill that a designer should have, and it's never about whether it's creating like a good aesthetic 3D model or it's like a render with good lighting. It's always having about quality ideas, because no matter what happens in the future, like, good ideas and human intervention will always be required in coming up with good ideas. So the one critical skill that I would suggest everyone should get good at and explore a little bit is different frameworks of critical thinking. How you do that is, so if you think of AI, the base is large language models, right? They are based out of language, which means most of them should be conversational. So whenever you're exploring some design or how to build a design, it should be more conversational, that, hey, I'm trying to build this design and what are the different ways I could solve this? And I thought of these ways to be solving this, but what are the other different ways it could be solved and how this could be achieved? So have it more as like a brainstorming and back and forth before establishing what the foundation of the design is. So critically thinking on how to solve that problem is the core skill that you need to have before even executing at any limit. The second thing is that about the displaying the AI projects in your portfolio. My suggestion would be, let's say at a given instance, if you directly go in Chat GPT or any sort of large language model, and if you say that, hey, I'm trying to redesign a sharpener, for example, based on this criteria, what it eventually does is that it's going to take everything from the internet existing image of a sharpener, and it's only going to give you something that's a remix, and it won't be an original idea as such. It will be just an alteration of somebody else's work. That's the same thing that happens in the industry, right? Like, when you go into, let's say, any sort of electronic store, if you look at any sort of brand's work which is mass consumed, all of them look the same because everyone's trying to keep it safe, when it comes to manufacturing, designing, everything. So if you had to make something which already exists, then why would you be a designer at all? So my suggestion before using AI would be to have a strong foundation of what your design is, have a base form which you can later take into AI to explore details like CMF and other engineering related details rather than building it completely up from scratch. There are different tools which are good for different things. For example, if you have a certain forms and details in mind, Midjourney is a really good tool to remix, where you can take a form, take a few details, and keep remixing between images with certain parameters. That way, you get to see like a very interesting combination of details. Maybe something inspires something that you can take it into your design. Sora is really good at generating renders with really great lighting. Uh, then there are different tools like Flora and everything else where you can customize your need when it comes to what you're trying to render. But in my opinion, it's always okay to show assets that have been built by AI, but make sure that the idea is your own because that's the real gold in the entire equation, in my opinion. So that's first question. The second question is from Apurva, which is what's your take on balancing the cost on an international masters with the return it brings in terms of opportunities? So, in my limited opinion, I have also done a master's. I feel uh, so. What happens in most of the undergrad courses is all the people that I know that are really happy in their career. They always had the passion to go out of their way and learn what they felt was necessary for them to be a designer. Like you can buy all the industrial design books in the world and absorb everything that those books are talking about, but it will always require a personal intervention to know that this is what I want to do in design. And there is no given course on platform that will help you discover that at core. You can only figure it out for yourself, which gets me to the second part of this answer, which is that in my opinion, I feel somebody should only do masters when they are trying to learn something very, very specific, which is outside of the design domain. There are a lot of gaps in the industry in terms of how products are built and they are manufactured. There are designers that are interested in electronics or interested in construction or uh, interested in soft goods. So when you're deciding to marry industrial design with some other field of choice which could create your very specific niche, I feel that is only when you should think about masters. Otherwise, in the age of internet, most of the skills are available that you can put in your own effort and learn. That's my take on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikrant. And we have many more questions coming in. I'm very glad to have all these questions here. Okay, so one of COO questions we have over here is, what systems or practice should designer adopt to manage client communication, track project processes, and avoid delays or misalignment during a project development? And along with that, it also expands where how do a person look after the pricing, payments, and value design for project management? Sam, will you please take up this question?
Absolutely, absolutely, Asmi. So there are four parts of the question. That first one is how client communication, how do we track the progress of the projects, how do we handle delays, and then pricing, right? That's exactly the question that you asked.
Yes.
So great. Guys, what I would like to tell you in industrial design industry is that design process by itself is only half the battle, right? So the other half is like how good you are in communicating with our clients, how you show the progress of the project to them. That's very important, and that too, how you show it the way they want to see, not like how we make our own Excel sheets and so. And then how we align the expectations of the project when it's going on, right? So these are three important things. So to put it simply, we must have very strong communication, a very transparent tracking process, and clear agreements right in the beginning. because these are going to be the best insurance whenever we face delays. And trust me, we will face delays. There is no doubt about that. All the projects all over the world, you will see delays happening in spite of absolute planning, right? So if I put it this way, I've actually laid it this way. One is client communication. What are the things that we must follow? Then the next is how we track the project, and then what could be the delays and how it can be handled, right? So when it comes to client communication, guys, what I have seen right over the years and everywhere is today in the digital world, there are way too many channels that are being followed, right? WhatsApp, you can create a quick group with your client. If you are the only one, it's very easy, but then you still have to know how many point of contacts are there from the client side, and if you have a team, how many people talk to them. That's one. And then you have emails, you have Discord, everywhere you can. So first thing is, as a thumb rule, you need to set up a single channel for communication, right? I will tell you why. If you set up email as the single channel for formal updates, it's much easier, because in WhatsApp, what happens is that we do daily pleasantries, we exchange messages, we do a lot of stuff. So a lot of things are unnoticed and goes off, correct? So a simple example is, I would be the project head, and there are two other of my teammates are also talking. So the client may tell something directly to this guy separately, right? And this guy will say, consider that as done, that too on a Friday evening, but he wouldn't do that. What will happen is that things may not happen, and on a Monday morning you will get to know that it is not done. So be very clear in that communication, saying that any formal approval or anything has to be done through an email, correct? And then next one is, have a clear cadence of check-ins. So what we follow here is that we have something called a weekly synopsis, and then of course milestone reviews, right? This weekly synopsis is so important for us, because we have actually structured it in such a way that the client knows what has happened so far, what is going to happen, right? That's what's next. What could be the red flags or delays which are uncontrollables, right? And then what is it that is pending from them for approval? For example, we would have completed something and we'll be waiting for the approval, and the approval might not have come. Why? Because we would have put it in the WhatsApp and that message would have gone, and 100 messages would have come. And then they will quietly ask you, one of the guys, where is the question that you asked? So be very clear. This client communication part has to be set right in the beginning, and one person from our end has to communicate with the client, come whatever it may. That's called SPOC, single point of contact. That's very, very important. You must follow. The next is what we call as the project tracking, right? So this is very, very important. What we do is that even before the project starts, we understand the scope of work, we put a chart, what we call as a Gantt chart, and see how the progress of the project is happening. So there are a lot of tools in the market that you can use. In fact, we have tried to use a lot of software such as Notion, Monday, Flowlu, but eventually what we understood is that we can actually keep it simple by using a good Excel sheet. And that's exactly what we are doing right now. And follow it to the T. That's very, very important. How would you do that? Break the project right in the beginning into multiple phases and check, milestones. So when you do that, the project where you start from the scratch, it will have a research phase, it will have a concept development phase, it will have CAD and renders, then you'll have prototyping phase, then you have testing, validation, then iteration, refinement, and eventually, in between the factory stuff come. So you clearly demarcate and see what is happening, right? And keep everything documented, right? For example, if you're doing sketches, if you're doing CAD versions, you document it and attach it as a link to each of these tracking phase. In that way, client will see what's happening and you will also get to know, right? Now, the most important part, that delays in projects. So there are two things. One is something that we can control. Another one are uncontrollables, right? That is not in our grasp. When I say controllables, are things like someone taking leave. If they inform you, a team member taking leave, you can always have somebody to cover it and continue the project. No issues. An uncontrollable is something someone has a medical emergency, they don't come in, then you need to have a buffer in place for that. Do it. Now, another uncontrollable is external factors. So when you work with factories, you will have issues coming in multiple ways. Paying a factory, a foreign factory itself is a big issue. It's not that easy to pay a factory who is in China or Vietnam and get things on. That itself takes few days. Sometimes it may take weeks also. So be very clear, communicate, okay, have buffer time in place, inform the client that these are the things that would happen, external factors. Explain it to the client right in the beginning, right? Every time, document every decision that you take. If you actually look at it, making a wrong decision is okay, because a lot of us make wrong decisions and things go not in the right way, but indecision is the problem, right? For example, if you decide that, okay, I'm going to change the factory, and then still continue with the current factory, and then later on client will say, oh god, why did you guys not change? So those kind of stuff, document and take decisive action, okay, when it comes to decisions. And importantly, have an open dialogue with the client. Continue, tell them very clearly where it is, where we are going, and where delays could come, right? And keep informing them. When you do that in an industrial design process like ours, where we are giving an intangible stuff which has to come into reality, it is because client will eventually think, I need that end product. It's not just us, we can get that. There are a whole lot of other people who will have to work along with us to get it. So keep them aware of that, right? So this is what I would say for communication, tracking, and how you need to set up the SOWs and agreement right in the beginning. Okay. Coming to the last one, Asmi, you were talking about pricing strategy, correct? So that's the trickiest part. I would still say we as a company, we are still figuring out what would be the best way to price our prospective customers. For that, we need to have our offerings very clear. In certain cases, people come and ask only for ideas. Okay, so you will just do sketching concept designs and submit them. So you need to understand what is it that you need to do for that and how much time it would take. You must know what software are you going to use. For example, if someone comes and tells you, I need renders, right, to be done.
I'm really sorry to interrupt you, Sam, but we are short of time right now, and we have few more questions to have. I would like you to please wrap it up this question a little bit if you can.
Okay. So in that case, pricing is a very, very a big thing. What I would suggest to community members is that you need to know your offerings very clearly, demarcate it, decide if you are only doing a specific thing, understand how much time it would take, what are all the other resources that you use, and only price that much, having your profit in mind. If it is going to be a longer one where external factors are involved, you need to know where all you would be spending externally, who are the people who are going to support you, based on which you need to assess, put the budget in place, and then decide. That's what I would say. Anyway, guys, thank you. I think we'll go to the next question then. Thanks, Asmi.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you so much. We'll be proceeding with the next question now. Our industrial designer, Parijman, I would like you to answer this question. It is, how can industrial designers differentiate themselves in today's era, and what can make Indian design stand out globally?
Hi, Yasmi. Hello, everyone. Parijman here. I'm also an industrial designer working at Analogy since past over a year now. Asmi, I think this is a very good question based on whatever is happening around the world, and also how Indian designers can make an impression over the world as new upcoming designers, or like recognizing themselves as or representing India um, in design world. So so like Vikrant was talking about AI, like Vyas was talking about AI, a lot of things are happening, including all the like uh, manufacturing related things, AI generations, etc. So in this, how can the designers create their own space, especially Indian designers? So I, in my opinion, it's a very straightforward thing. We being designers, we are uh, we are educated, or we have trained in looking at problems. This is something that we should never lose, because we we know how to look at things. We know what may work, what may not work. We are someone who are supposed to look at the users, the marketing aspect, the manufacturing aspect, and then we have to come up with a holistic solution. So looking at all these things, we should be unbiased to any opinion, or we should be unbiased to any observation that we come across. And when we keep this in mind, and when we trust the process, I think we would definitely, or we normally always come up with a solution that is actually a solution and not just an aesthetic solution for the product or the requirement of the client or requirement of the industry. And being industrial designers, I think we should always also be up to date with the materials, and um, like whatever new material innovation is happening across the world. It can be any fancy material, it can be any new material innovation in fashion design, industrial design, in maybe what if it's something related to construction, like just a couple of years ago, while we all were studying, while I was studying, I'd come across a very interesting material as regenerative concrete. In industrial design, it may not be used as much, but the similar material is used and can be used in architecture and interior spaces in a very innovative and a refreshing way. So this is like a way where industrial designers can uh, like keep up to the trend, or different differentiate themselves. The second thing is always keep in mind the business aspect of design, and how can design um, like help you earn more money, because ultimately it all boils down to numbers, and ultimately it all boils down to how much you've made or how much you've sold. Yes, design is supposed to change behavior, design is supposed to change the world, but not all designs change the world. So you also have to be realistic when you are more ambitious. So if you keep those things in mind, you can differentiate and not just become an aesthetic designer, but also a functional or a practical designer. The second part of the question is also good. What can make Indian designers stand out globally? I feel Indians have a lot of raw materials naturally in them, or because of the exposure they have since childhood. So when you talk about Indian designers or Indian design compared to the Western design or European design or Europe has very vast history in design, and they have an established design language in a whole. In general, they have a established design language. Indian, on the other side, they have multiple design philosophies, ideologies, and something that may not even be counted as design, but plays a very huge role in everyday life, which is something that we call as jugaad. So Indians are born with jugaad. Everyone in their lifetime has done something or the other, and I don't think India can ever function without jugaad. So when I was abroad, a lot of people, uh, just a very small example, a lot of people stop working if something doesn't work, or they discard something if the product doesn't work. But in India, you always, like maybe 70% of the time, never throw things. You try to fix it, you try to use it in some other way. So all these things, I think, builds up a very strong ideology or very strong behavioral impact in Indian design, which all Indian designers can use in the thought process while designing something. And this is also one of the ways how Indian designers can stand out globally in the global design market, because this is something that maybe others have never thought of because they were not exposed to it. But since Indian designers, we've been exposed to it on a daily basis everywhere in India. This is
Okay,
something
thank
that
you
comes
so much,
naturally to us.
Parishman. I'm really sorry to cut you off, but again, we are in very short of
Right,
time.
right, right. I'll try to wrap it up.
Yes.
Just one more point. India is always considered as a country of colors and diverse culture or diversity. So this is also something that Indian designers could use to stand out and to have an impact. Use maybe some vibrant colors, contrast, modularity, and like I said, maybe frugal can become premium. It's not a concept, but maybe like what if frugalism can become premium in some way? That could be a different approach or a fresh approach for the industry. So yeah, these are my thoughts on this. Thank you,
Thank
Asmi.
you. Thank you so much, Parishma. We are very short of time. I'm really sorry for that, guys. But I hope like on our next session, we will have a longer session because we were not expecting this amount of questions for us. So the next question I would like Neeraj to answer. It is that what kind of topic should we take up for our design projects as at a student level? And Neeraj, please do keep the answer precise.
Yeah, sure. So I was just reading up those. Am I audible firstly?
Yeah,
Hello?
yeah, you are audible. Please go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I'll try to keep it as simple as I can. So if you're a student, you'll be making or working on projects for two, three main reasons. One is to get recognized in the industry, have some studios or companies have a look at your work and get shortlisted to work there. That could be one reason. The other one could be self-growth, where you are exploring different AI tools, like exploring a lot of new things to learn or understand more. Maybe you're breaking apart a few products that you find in your home and you're doing something with it. And the other thing is you can also follow trends in the design landscape or in the whole like scenario of the world. So currently, like say a few fun, interesting things as a student that you can work on could be say a new AI companion. Uh, in like very recent very recently, we might have seen Rabbit R1 or that Humane AI pen. So those are some use cases which failed, but as a student, you can always take a stab at it. You don't have to be very serious with things like that. Also, follow what your passions are. If you're very interested in, say, sneaker design or shoe design, just design the heck out of sneakers. Use AI to bring your sketches to life. Do all those experimentations on the side. If you're someone who's heavily into audio or headphones, earphones, just design a lot of those and apply for the role that you want. At the end of the day, you either do work to get recognized or you do work to improve yourself. So I think you should always keep honing those skills of yours to be seen out there in the world. So I think that's my 2 cents on it, like very short answer.
Thank you so much, Neeraj, and I really hope on the next session we give a large sum of time to everyone to answer.
Yeah.
Uh, Now we unfortunately we have to move to our last question, guys. But for that, I want to make the announcement, which I said that it was a surprise. So Analogy is going to have their very first networking community event, which is going to be conducted on in first week of November 2025, as we are completing a decade over here in the industry to celebrate that and one thing that we have realized is the lack of awareness and bridging the gap between the founders and the students who are upcoming generation of the industrial design. We really wanted to have a bridging gap between them, so we are going to have this session which is going to be very fruitful, and this is going to be an amazing thing for all of us. It is an in-person event, and we will be sharing all the details regarding the event on the community group. So please do spread the word about this thing, and I would really like all of you to bring in your companions, your friends, to have this lively experience. We are moving to the last question of this session. I would like Gokul and Dinesh, both of you, to take a lead on this answer. The question is, as someone with a mechanical engineering background aspiring to move into design role, I have noticed many job positions require a specific design degree. How important is a design degree compared to the engineering skills, and what can I do to stay competitive without it?
Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, Dinesh.
Yeah. So this is a very common question. So even yesterday, my colleague Gokul also asking the same question. Me. So I would like to answer this. Actually, so the design degree is won't stop you. I feel because from engineering point of view, the engineering is your. I think the engineering is your biggest strength. So the engineering degree gives you the structure, not for the product. As an engineer, it gives you a structure. So so it really matters how you thinking about that project. So for example, identify the problem is a different thing, but how to solve the problem. So and if you have a solution for the problem, then how do you visualize that? So whether that is the area that designers plays the major role. So I am thinking how I would say how do you balance the creativity with the feasibility. So how do you solve the problem with the feasibility and how to make it beautiful? So I would say, so already you know that manufacturing method. So compared to designers, so in engineers little bit more about the manufacturing methods and tolerance, ergonomics, and safety standards, material. So everything already you know. So in that point of view, how do you approach a problem and how do you solve that? That is the area you need to balance between the engineering and the industrial designs. So my advice is not advice, I would suggest. So don't put your design degree. The design degree won't stop you. Focus on building strong portfolio and building your ideas. And as Vyas said, use AI ChatGPT renders to make your ideas more beautiful compared to then your solution and your problems to match your ideas to your industrial design level. So I would say keep doing and keep thinking in how to solve the problems with feasibility and manufacturing ways. So so degree won't stop you. So continue doing that. So if you have any further question, please reach out to me on the WhatsApp group. I would glad to answer the question.
Also, guys, if you can hear me, I just want to mention that whether that's happening at work, whether that's happening outside of work, please make sure that you make mechanical engineers or engineers best friends in life. Why I'm saying that is because as designers, we are merely exposed to what the realities of manufacturing look like. So always be brainstorming, having conversations on how this could be developed, that could be manufactured. That will help you only in expanding your own skill set and understanding what manufacturing looks like. And there are things that you might not foresee yourself as a designer, and just know that you are also not expected to at all times, but always get an opinion, always get feedback from an engineer on each and every detail. That would ensure all the efforts that you're putting in developing an idea actually takes it to the mold and manufacturing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh, So, how do, as a designer, you look after the timelines, and how do you manage all the projects that you have in a studio setting? So, basically, if you're working freelance, you have only a one project and you're very focused. But working in a design studio aspect, you have multiple projects running together. How do you manage all the deadlines, and how do you manage your work with multiple projects going on? Gokul, will you please take the lead for this answer?
Yeah, sure. So, welcome everyone to the community, and I would like to thank you all for joining the webinar. So this is our first webinar. There might be like a few more questions left for the next round. So I'm happy to answer this. So the this question is pretty simple. Like we are focusing on multiple disciplinary things. So like a lot of projects going on side by side. It won't be like a single project. As a freelancer, you work on single project at a time and then complete it and then jump to next project. So there will be a variety of projects. It won't be like very close to each other enough. Like you can varietyly work on like electronics from mechanical to all the design part of it. So managing the time is blocking your time according to the phase of it. So from starting phase of the design and research to the development and then to the final manufacturing level of it. So you have to take care of all this importance timeline between those. So splitting up your time will really help you on that. And also knowing the timeline where it is going to end up, you should not like go beyond the timeline what is registered on your project sheet. So making the project timeline is easy, but um, managing it time to time every week and then monthly catch up calls and then whatever it is happening on the project, let everyone know and then get all the brainstorming ideas, and taking up crucial calls on timing and also getting the project better on track. So it will be actually a planning thing. So you should plan accordingly, however it is flexible for each and everything. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Gokul.
Yep.
And we are unfortunately at the end of this webinar for today. But nevertheless, we are going to have a series of webinar that is going out. Maybe we will have this every month for now, and maybe afterwards, when we have a larger audience, we can increase the frequency by 15 days. And all the questions which are not answered, I would like you to know that I have noted down all the questions, and we'll be also sharing the feedback forms on the community group itself. You guys can go fill up all your questions, and maybe next time I have all the questions in my hand, and then we will have a longer session for that. And thank you so much everyone for joining, and wasn't expecting so many questions and participants, but yeah, it went really great.
Yeah, thank you guys. And then it's, like I said, this is the first webinar. So we're also trying to figure out how it works. I mean, people are spread out across the studio. You'll see people in different offices. And also, I think, you can also see that we want to really work with the community and give you something which is not there in any other community, right? I think some of the comments that Malolan made today, see, a lot of us over-index on just the design skills, but we forget the business skills. And I feel it is very important for all of you to understand that. I've seen so many freelancers, students, interns get taken advantage of just because you guys don't know how to price, or you guys don't know how to talk, or maybe you guys don't know how to talk to a client, right? So I think with these sessions, we'll improve that with you guys, to kind of, the overall intention of doing this community is also not to just build a vast community, but maybe build a small one where, let's say, we increase. If you guys know, there is an absolutely regulated rate in the US, right, for design. Whereas in India, it is just a free-for-all market. I've seen people do things for 5,000 rupees. People have done for I've seen even 2,000 rupee projects that have been gone out, right? So I feel like for industrial design, that is not even a benchmark. I mean, it is extremely low for the amount of work you do. For example, each of you have taken such big loans to finish in a bachelor's or could be a master's also, right? And it's not even worth it. It'll take, if you just do projects like this, it'll take like 10 years or 15 years for you to pay back all those things. It just doesn't work. So I feel understanding the design skill aspect is one thing, but also understanding the real world, understanding the business side is super important, right? And that's what we are here to help you guys also do, maybe upskill in that area. The only request we have is maybe you guys can support our social content a little bit better, so we can put out better things for you guys. Join more of these community sessions. We're also planning, Asmi's planning a whole bunch of stuff around studio tours. We'll do more events. Eventually, once we get this right, we could even do it every 15 days, maybe, so that this becomes a little bit better for you guys. So a lot of good advice is there. People like Vikrant, Dinesh, Gokul, Neeraj, Parijman, they've all been around so many projects. They have a lot of things to contribute as well.
Only request again, put most of the things on the group. Don't DM people, because an answer that a person would spend time to give you could also benefit somebody else, right? They
Right.
might have a similar question. So don't feel. The first thing I would say is be confident to put things on the group. Get that feedback on the group, right? The more people see it, the better the conversations are. And we don't want this to become a dead community at the end, right?
Right.
We want it to be active. We want people like you to ask more questions. So, like Asmi said, some of the questions, if you feel they're not answered, just put it on the group, right? Like you can put it on the group. We can leave voice notes. We can leave a video message for you guys. Somewhere or the other, somebody will reply to this overall thing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. We will take a leave for now. Thank
Yeah,
you,
I think there are
everyone.
some
Thanks,
questions like this, like by
Yeah.
Sanjana, where we're a small company, initial funding, strong idea consumer, we're finding it challenging to connect with reliable local manufacturers. All these, put it on the group, guys. We'll
Yeah.
be able to help you out.
Definitely, I have noted all the questions, and you guys are very free. The community is an open chat for everyone, and we hope we have more of such sessions. Thank you so much, guys. Good
Thanks,
day.
guys.
Bye bye. Good
Bye.
day.
Take care.
Thanks for the meet, Asmi.